up, YouTube? So we back at the crib, and I'm about to get to work on this 89 vert. So I sold the motor and the trans. Yes, the vert that I had, I sold the motor and trans. It was just too much work. Car was real jacked up. So I just fired up the notch. Check it out. Just trying to make sure that battery still stays cool. Sounds good. All right, let me turn this thing off. First thing, speedometer or the cluster needs to be changed. I noticed there's a big chunk taking out the steering wheel. The alignment's way the hell off, and then if you notice, this is way higher than the front. So there's lowering springs on the front, but none on the back, excuse me. So turns out what I had done was the lower control arms and lowering springs were put in this Mustang, and I left the fronts alone. So it's just a matter of me taking this out. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna remove that 8.8, remove the control arms, remove the springs, take these lights too because they're really good condition. The mufflers, I'm gonna go ahead and put in the notch, and that 7.5 is gonna go in this convertible, so I can get rid of it and keep the 8.8 for any future stuff that I'm doing. Maybe even put it in my Cougar. So with this car, and over time I'd put on the bumper. I'm gonna leave this deck lid because I never really liked it. I'm definitely gonna keep the steering wheel, the computer, the cluster works really good, and the bumper cover, and you know, the wires, stuff like that. All right, let's get to it. As you can see, we took the 8.8 out and all the other little goodies that was on this vert. Because right now, this notch doesn't have any mufflers, so I'm gonna stick these old flow matches in there for now. The shroud is okay on this, but the reservoir was broke. So I'm gonna replace it with that one. I got a good tail light because this one's got a teeny little crack right here. I think it came from us pushing the car. The matching lowering springs for the front, control arm, and some Tokiko shocks. All right. So now let's go ahead and stick them in. Suspension is in. Put the shocks in. Boom. Got the lower control arms and lowering springs. But even when I put the lowering springs, it still sits kind of hiked up. So I'm thinking that they're like stiffer rather than being lowering springs, because it still sits hiked up versus the front. So it's like this like downward kind of rake that I noticed that I'm not really feeling. But what's crazy is these springs were a set. So I'm a little confused, but hey, whatever. Maybe it's for a bigger tire in the back. That's what I was thinking. All right, so suspension is in. As you can see, I turned the car around. I got a little Fiero back there. When we turned the car around, because I took it for a little spin last night. Feels really good, real powerful. I mean, it just launches, dude. But I noticed the clutch needs to be adjusted because it still has a problem just getting into gear. So I'm gonna jack it up, and as I'm fixing that front wheel, I'll also adjust the clutch. And I'm changing the power steering pump because I noticed that the power steering is not working. So I took the pump here from the old convertible that worked absolutely amazing, and I'm taking this old pump out. Yeah, there's no leaks there at the rack and pinion. So I'm just like, well, it's got to be the pump. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. Then we'll drive this around a little bit and then start having some fun with it, doing some mods. What I did was, so the vert, I took the steering rack out and I took it over to Moreno's, which is a store on the east side, a shop on the east side, off of Central and 76 in LA, that did a rebuild on the rack. Because the rack had like a bunch of problems. So I'm gonna show you guys the rack right now, what he did. All right, so boom, there it is. They rebuilt it. He put new outer and inner tie rods. That's why it's so stiff. Put new boots, re-greased it. and he changed some of the bushings. He didn't change this rubber bushing. He was telling me that it's not super detrimental, but if I wanted to do it, I'd have to pay a little bit more money. But I didn't take it that far. You know what I'm saying? So he gave me everything, even cotter pins. So now it's my job to pull out the old one and get this sucker in. New rack is in. All right, let's just button it up. Got a little hose here I gotta put in still. But I tried to do the best bootleg alignment I could until I could bring it to the alignment shop. And I got lowering springs in here, so I gotta get some caster camber plates. If you got some caster camber plates for your boy Junkyard Dog, post them on my site and I'll buy them from you, all right? Please, because I want to do this right. I don't want to burn my tires out every couple months. All right, let's button up the rest of the stuff and take it for a test drive. All right, power steering is in. Doing the traditional Ford whine. Alignment is still way off thanks to Tony's, I don't know what the hell I'm doing with alignment setup, but that's what alignment shops are for. Let's try to take it for a spin. All right, it's gonna be hard to kind of do this and drive at the same time. It's dark now. Probably should do this in the morning, but Notchback is on the road. It's driving. Let's test those brakes. Brakes don't feel so great. They're kind of soft. It's all good. I'll give you a nice full drive in the daylight tomorrow. We ran out of time. So last episode you saw me messing around with the electronics a little bit and remove the intake. So I'm back in the shop now, so I'm about to cut up this aluminum. All right, let's quit all this jaw jacking. Let's get it cracking. See if I can find some aluminum. We got this piece right here. It's pretty good. It's probably like a proper size. And we got this big piece right here. It's all 1/4 inch. And we got that piece back there, a little thin piece. And we got that pile right there. Alright, let me see what I can make out of this. And measure it out. Hopefully it's enough for in this one piece right here. See, the trick is when you want to buy materials is at least the metal suppliers around here, they have like a sale at the end of the month where they just try to dump all the crap. And I just go in there and just buy all the crap. And you get it really cheap. Like I bought this aluminum piece for like $3 or $4 or something like that. So aluminum's pretty expensive. So if you get a chance to get it on sale, do it. All right, so this is the plate that's supposed to make that V formation on the inside here. And it goes from this bottom line here down to the ports. All right, let's go. In my favorite fashion of using prototyping materials, I got a piece of cardboard here. So the idea, let's put this over here. So you got this cardboard, and it basically is gonna sit in there like this, right at that line. See it? Okay. So cardboard sits in there at that line, and it creates this smaller box on the inside here, and then this is really the only reason why I made it this wide in the first place was to hold the superchargers because they're so wide. You know, if they were more narrow, then it would be easier for me to kind of even lower them down, but didn't have that option. Take this out, and I transferred my ghetto measurements to this piece of scrap aluminum. Boom, and then I just duplicate it. Now I'm gonna cut it out and try it. Now if it's too wide or whatever, we'll bring it into spec with a angle grinder with a flat disc on it. Okay, the blade. All right, so there it is. You kind of get an idea what I'm talking about now, right? So the air, see, I got just a little lip there that I'm gonna have to cut off. I'm gonna just mark it all the way down just to get a little off. It just needs a little bit off. I might just grind it down until this hits flat. The way this works is, bam, all right? Now it's not sitting flat anymore because of the, the gap, as you can see. All right, there's a little gap in there because it's not sitting flat. But so basically, it's set up like this. Air comes in, doesn't bother with all that pocket back there. Air comes in, boom, goes straight into the ports. So I'm gonna try to line up this with this entrance exactly, like right on the lip of it. And then that way it'll just boom and skip all that other crap down there. All right, boom, so there it is. Now this would have been easier if I had planned this out from the beginning, but there's certain things in a prototype. That's the word I was looking for earlier, prototype. So there's certain things in a prototype that you just don't know you're gonna run into until you get to it. So if I had known, I would have had the water jet cut this out, and because I had all this water jet cut out. But I had to use the cutoff wheel to get these cut out because I couldn't put on the bandsaw, and then the hacksaw could only cut the slots this way. So yeah, but yeah, it's cut out. All right, so we got all our little bits and pieces and all that to make this come alive for now. Only thing I'm missing is the top, the cap. I gotta kind of fit those a little better. And obviously we have the top plate, the Supercharged mounting plate. Got 2 of those. And then we have our support gusset. Okay, they got 4 of them. And then we have our little plate that fits in between to kind of angle the air back into the main intake. Even though most of the air is coming out the back of the supercharger, I still felt this was necessary. And that's it. So the way these go is they sit like this on an angle. All right, just like that. So that's something that I'm gonna have to explain to Dude and to the homie in steps on how to do that. And then he's gonna go ahead and seal up the outside of this and get all of that done. All right, so here we are, about to roll up to the homie Sean's place. He's gonna weld up the intake for me. But yeah, this should be cool. I already told him that I was on my way. So we have arrived at the homie spot. So it's time to get this thing welded. All right, so I explained it to my man Sean. He totally gets it, what we're gonna do here, and yeah, I don't know. He's gonna hit me back when it's finished. I'm excited to get it back and bolt it on, man, so I can start working on the cap, because that's a whole other thing that we're gonna, I'm gonna be back for the cap. All right.